buzzword has been around for a while, big data.
Yes.
And now we're talking about unstructured big data, which is images and videos, so it's not formatted, but businesses want to use it. Are they starting to reach into that space?
They're trying. We're all trying. So everybody wants more data. Everybody wants to understand their businesses better from the customer's perspective. So big data is a buzzword. It's a powerful buzzword because it means so many things. It means big volume, unstructured data, data from the internet, all types of sources. So this concept of cognitive analytics that we're talking about is trying to do a couple of things, using big data, high volumetric analysis, people with intelligence, the data scientists, and also trying to tap into the power that comes with getting machines to do some work as well. Find those patterns.
Explain the concept a bit more. We know
Right.
big data is, like you say, just the huge volumes out there, and businesses want to see what their customers are saying, for instance. And what could they get of video and images?
Well, you'd have to marry this with a little bit of social media as well to try and pick up sentiment analysis. We speak also in the trends about needing to harness the power of the recommendation economy, which is where we're at. If you've got teenage kids, anybody's got teenage kids, they go onto Twitter before they listen to mom and dad, right? So that's where
and they tell each other where to go and buy things and what to do.
So what we're trying to say is think about getting these listening posts to work in your favor. Figure out what people are thinking about your brand, not just listen to them, but then try and influence them. Try and tap into this recommendation economy. Now, cognitive analytics, or analytics broadly, is one way of doing that, but then you'd have to use it. You'd have to get into social engagement and tapping into some of those recommendation powers that sit in the digital economy.
There's also this reference to personal decision making. So
Right.
Google now checks your calendar, then GPS finds you, then Google Maps finds where you're going to,
Right.
And you receive some sort of notification as to how to get there. It sounds very exciting. It assumes that it knows where your dentist's appointment or wherever you're going to in the first place.
Right. So there's a lot of assumptions around that. And obviously one of the assumptions is how much data do you want to share about what you're doing? And clearly, the more we get into this connected economy, the harder it's going to be able to control that. Sometimes people know where you are without you knowing that they know. So that is a reality, and that is, you're right, that's quite a key assumption.
And now you're putting that data out there for people to find you. I also find that people who use these high-tech tools, I know some people are experimenting with them, but it takes all day to just play with it, set it up. Are we moving into a much more user-friendly space?
That's a powerful observation, because for many years we've been watching the forces of democratization of IT, user empowerment, where corporate users are now wanting the same powerful mobile app experience that they have using their iPhones or their smartphones back in the enterprise. So I think that's going to be a force that determines how the new software actually gets written.
It has to be easy to use.
It has to be easy to use, more intuitive.
What about wearables? Very exciting, so you can touch things and see things that aren't physically there. But for companies, this must be hugely expensive. Who's using it thus far?
Now, wearables, I must confess, is my personal favorite trend for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you're right. Right now, wearables take the form of the Nike Fuel Band, the Samsung Gear. It's very consumer-oriented. But the power that we have is wearables get to go where iPads and iPhones don't, where tablets don't. They get to go down mine shafts, and they get to go down manufacturing plants, and they get to create a source of data or a channel for data to and from these sometimes inaccessible areas. And that creates very powerful potential applications. We still need to build them. So wearables are in that aggressive experimentation mode right now, but the promise is quite.
Is there anybody pioneering, or is this still a while off before it becomes pervasive?
There's a lot of people trying it. Microsoft has certainly issued some standards around the manufacturing environment where wearables could be used. There's going to be a lot of experimentation. We still need some standards in the space, so it's early days yet. But the idea of having either clothing, watches, or goggles that provide you with real-time data as you're moving through whatever your day-to-day operations are is quite powerful.
Very quickly, you're talking about some things that have been around for a while: crowdsourcing, social activation, the cloud. What is new?
Well, I think in crowdsourcing particularly, we're talking about industrialized crowdsourcing. Now here, as soon as you put the word industrialized next to it, it says fit for use for enterprises. And can we use this? And can we use this in Africa to be able to tap into scarce skills on an as-needed basis, because this could be quite powerful, to be able to tap into very high-level IP-led decision-making capabilities on an as-needed basis.
So the skills don't need to be here, but you access
Absolutely.
them virtually. Very, very interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
That was Kamal Ramsingh from Deloitte.